Under the bright lights of the arena, two men stepped into the ring carrying not only their national flags, but the weight of expectation, legacy, and pride. Dmitry Bivol, the undefeated Russian technician, known for his impeccable footwork and surgical accuracy, faced off against England's Lyndon, a dangerous challenger with a sharp jab and determination burning in his eyes. It was a clash of styles, a meeting of mind and muscle, and fans knew they were in for something special the moment the bell rang. Bivol wasted no time asserting control. From the opening seconds, he displayed his trademark calm, controlling the center of the ring and working behind a fast, snapping jab. Arthur, tall and rangy, tried to keep the Russian at bay with his own jab, but Bivol's timing was too sharp, his rhythm too consistent. The Russian wasn't rushing, he was calculating, watching, feinting, and probing like a grandmaster chess player planning several moves ahead. Arthur moved well, but it was clear early on that Bivol's footwork would be a problem. He slid, in and out effortlessly, barely touched by Arthur's counters. As the first round progressed, Bivol began to target the body. He sent quick left hooks to Arthur's ribs, testing the Englishman's conditioning and trying to slow his legs. Arthur responded with a few right hands over the top, but Bivol rolled with them, minimizing the impact and returning fire with 2 or 3 crisp shots of his own. The tempo was high, but Bivol was never reckless. Every movement had a purpose, and each shot was thrown with precision. It wasn't just speed, it was controlled aggression, and it was beginning to take a toll on Arthur. The second round saw Bivol turn up the pressure slightly. He began doubling up on his jab and mixing in sharp right crosses, snapping Arthur's head back. Arthur showed resilience, trying to time Bivol with counters, but he struggled to find consistent success. Bivol's defense was airtight. His head, movement subtle but effective, slipping just enough to make Arthur miss and then making him pay with swift combinations. One left hook to the body, followed by an uppercut on the inside, drew gasps from the crowd. Arthur stood firm, but the flow of the fight was tilting clearly in Bivol's favor. In the third, Bivol continued to dissect Arthur. The Russian was throwing punches in bunches now, quick flurries that disrupted Arthur's rhythm. Every time Arthur tried to set his feet and get off a combination, Bivol was already gone, or had already landed 2 punches of his own. A clean right hand midway through the round stunned Arthur momentarily, but the Englishman held his ground, refusing to let the moment overwhelm him. Still, the difference in speed and accuracy was becoming evident. Bivol was landing at will, with both hands, and Arthur was fighting to catch up. Arthur showed signs of life in the fourth, landing a solid right uppercut that got Bivol's attention. The shot didn't do significant damage, but it reminded the Russian that Arthur still had weapons of his own. That moment sparked a brief exchange in the middle of the ring, both men trading shots, their gloves cracking against heads and shoulders. But even in that exchange, Bivol's hand speed and control of angles gave him the upper hand. He slipped a jab and came over the top with a sizzling right hand that found Arthur's chin clean. Arthur absorbed it, nodding in acknowledgement, but he was increasingly being outboxed. By the 5th round, Bivol had fully found his rhythm. He was controlling distance beautifully, dancing just outside of Arthur's reach and then stepping in with lightning-quick shots to the body and head. His punch variety was a masterclass, looping rights, stiff jabs, chopping left hooks, and sneaky uppercuts that snuck through Arthur's guard. The crowd began to sense that a turning point was near. Bivol was now walking Arthur down, taking away his space, applying relentless mental and physical pressure. Arthur continued to throw back, but he was spending more time reacting than initiating. In round 6, Bivol continued his dominance, showcasing his elite ring IQ. He feinted often, drawing reactions from Arthur, then capitalizing on the openings. A slick combination, jab, jab, right hand, left hook, landed flush, forcing Arthur to retreat. The Russian wasn't just scoring points, he was breaking Arthur down methodically. Lyndon tried to regroup, circling and flicking out his jab, but Bivol timed it and countered over the top with a powerful right. It was clear the Englishman was starting to feel the wear, his guard a little slower, his legs less springy. Still, Arthur showed heart. In round 7, he tried to rally, pushing Bivol back momentarily with a flurry of punches. He landed, a nice body shot followed by a left hook upstairs. It didn't hurt Bivol, but it reminded everyone that Arthur hadn't come just to survive. He came to fight. But Bivol responded like a champion, stepping back in with a punishing right-hand left hook combo that sent sweat flying from Arthur's brow. Then came a body assault that doubled Arthur over momentarily. Not enough to drop him, but enough to sap some of that energy he had tried to muster. As the 8th round began, Bivol's confidence was soaring. He was now backing Arthur into corners, throwing sharp 3 and 4 punch combinations, pivoting off the line and then doing it again. Arthur was stuck in a cycle of defending and surviving, unable to find the openings he needed to mount a comeback. Bivol was simply too sharp, too fast, and too disciplined. He landed a slick uppercut that had Arthur blinking, followed by a blistering right hand that had the crowd roaring in appreciation. Every minute that passed, Bivol was proving why he belonged among the elite. In round 9, Bivol continued pouring it on. He wasn't wild or reckless. He was calculated and brutal. He picked his shots with surgical precision, wearing Arthur down with a steady stream of leather. Arthur's face was beginning to swell, a testament to the punishment he'd absorbed. He tried to fight back, but his punches lacked the snap they had in the early rounds. Bivol was in complete control, and it seemed only a matter of time before something big landed clean. A sharp 1-2 staggered Arthur briefly, and the referee watched closely. But Arthur stayed on his feet, his pride keeping him upright. The 10th round was a display of pure dominance from Bivol. He unleashed a relentless body attack, sinking left hooks into Arthur's ribs and following up with clean shots to the head. Arthur was visibly winded, his legs slowing, his hands dropping, just a bit too often. Bivol exploited every gap, walking Arthur down and landing at an almost effortless rate. The commentators were already discussing how this performance would stack up with the rest of Bivol's career, and where it might take him next. Meanwhile, Arthur was surviving on sheer toughness, absorbing a barrage but refusing to go down. By the championship rounds, the outcome was no longer in doubt. Bivol had built an insurmountable lead on the cards and was putting on a clinic in the final minutes. He danced around Arthur, punishing him with crisp shots from every angle. Even when Arthur managed to throw, Bivol was already gone, a ghost, in the ring, making his opponent miss by inches and then responding with clean counters. It was artful boxing, and the crowd knew they were witnessing something special. In the 12th and final round, Bivol didn't let off the gas. He closed the show like a true professional, landing combinations, managing distance, and reminding everyone why he's one of the best in the business. Arthur gave it all he had, throwing punches to the final bell, but he couldn't find the shot that would turn the tide. When the bell rang, both men embraced in mutual respect. They had gone 12 hard rounds, but the difference in class was clear. The judges rendered their decision, and as expected, Dmitry Bivol was declared the winner by unanimous decision. He raised his hands, expression calm and composed as always. Another win on his record, another clinic in technical boxing. Lyndon Arthur, though defeated, earned respect for his toughness and willingness to step into the fire. But on this night, Bivol's skill was simply too much. It was a showcase of mastery from one of the sport's most disciplined and precise fighters, and a reminder to the rest of the division. Dmitry Bivol is still the man to beat.